You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
Some drivers go for speed. Some drivers go for style. Some drivers go for luxury. Why choose only one? Why compromise on something lesser? Esselmont Automotion presents The Surge. Made from cutting-edge alloys. Inspired by designs recovered from the horizon itself. Engineered by the finest minds in Faramond. With 200 Panther power under the hood, premium leather bucket seats, and a profile designed by Drogo Felspar, the Surge is the ultimate in automotion. The Esselmont Surge. Ask your dealer for a test drive today.
Hi everybody, it's Mikey. I'm here to tell you a bit of a story, and the other bit of the story is going to be told by the players. So I'm going to go around the virtual table now and ask their players to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their character. And the thing I'd like to know about their character is, do they have an evening routine just before bed? Do they take a glass of water to bed maybe? Is there something they do before they snuggle up? What do they do? Because it is the next day, and I'd like to know how they went to bed after a day of cat and mouse with a menacing-looking airship, which you expertly lost. So we will start, I think, with Captain Heek. We're going to start with Ed.
Hi, my name is Ed Fortune. I play the character Captain Carter Heek. He is a Tynan engineer saboteur, and he ends his evening by making sure that he is expertly combed, because he is a very fairy gentleman. So he makes sure that everything is properly combed, and possibly there's a hairnet involved, depending. But it's
a body net.
Body net. There's definitely like a whole teeth thing, like a whole dental arrangement, because his teeth are famously well kept. But yes, he does actually.
Does he go to bed in a fishnet jumpsuit?
It's a good question, isn't it? No, I think he actually has like a.
It's a good question. It's a terrible answer, but it's a good question.
I think he has like a very kind of, not quite silk, but like kind of like that sort of like bedding, dressing gown-y thing. We've established that he curls up into a ball regardless of what he does, and like looks basically like a kitten. But I think what happens is no matter what he does, when he gets up in the morning, it's complete fuzz everywhere. It's like an absolute like nightmare of lines all over. Head goes like he's been hit with static shock again before he taps
the Pink Panther in a laundromat, I understand.
Yeah, Pink Panther in a laundromat. But excellent tooth care.
Ross, what does Savril do? Does he have a nice mug of warm Horlicks? What's the bedtime routine?
The only thing I can think of is that Savriel's actually a relatively devout Romanian, so he has a sun disk. He'll be pointing it roughly the direction of the sunset, I would think, and following the basis of his religion. And beyond that, a prayer and a wish for the following day.
You go to bed after the sun goes down, even though the sun is huge on this planet. You go to bed after the sun goes down. Is there something you do as the sun sets?
I'm trying to think, in this sort of, would you be looking towards where the sun would actually be rather than towards where the sun is setting? But I mean, the gist is he's got a prayer and a wish, and that's what he goes to bed thinking. Yeah. The actual time of day, I don't think matters too much as much as it's the end of the day. So point the disc in the direction of where the sun set.
That's nice. So you point it basically below the horizon when you go to bed. That's really nice.
I haven't decided, but it's our world. So.
Lou, I imagine you're not going to bed, and Kuro is basically sleeping in a big, comfortable captain's chair most of the time now.
Well, I'd imagine that after being thoroughly wired during the chase, would have handed over control to the ship after changing direction to Captain Heek while they went back to their bunk for a bit and just absolutely crashed out. Maybe read a chapter of a very foxed yellow romance novel that probably ended up over the top of their face. I'd imagine Kuro's a snorer. They are not graceful in sleep. Well, it's not why they don't do it a lot. It's that there's too much going on, and don't want to miss anything. Bit of a FOMO going on. So yeah, it's when Kuro falls asleep, it is in an instant for 2 or 3 hours. Then she's up and ready to go again, and we'll relieve Captain Heek. But then we'll be in the big comfy chair, keeping an eye on the horizon, an eye on if there's anything following us, and just once again, almost semi-sleeping. Yeah. There is very much, it is napping, but with one eye open and one ear out. Yeah. For any changes in atmospheric pressure or unusual, shifts of the ship or anything possibly exploding.
That's awesome, thank you. And Adam?
Well, so much like Savriel, Rakeo is also extremely religious, but for the opposite church. So while Rakeo celebrates the dawn and the dusk, Rakeo celebrates the moonrise and the moonfall, which don't always happen at the same time, because that's the nature of things. Sometimes you can see both the sun and the moon in the sky, or the moons in the sky at the same time. But there are nighttime rituals of his church, which he sees to, many of which involve a small, elaborate silver, like a shallow silver dish, which gets filled with purified water from a water skin of purified water that he keeps specifically for these purposes, which he uses as a meditation aid. He has a couple of similar rituals around that. He seems to instinctively know where the moons are in the sky, even though he can't possibly see them. They are beyond the reach of even his miracle-enhanced vision, but he still always seems to know roughly whereabouts they are to offer his own obeisance to the moons. And there are prayers which depend on the phase of the moons, which ones are available in the sky at any given point in time. And he's got all of these memorised because he kind of has to. He's not really been able to bring any of his religious texts with him, and the ones that may be on the airship, even if there are any, won't be written in a fashion that he can read. And I get the feeling that Lambert, in as much as he bothered with religion, was a Remenian sun worshipper anyway, rather than an Iridian moon worshipper. So what there is probably not hugely useful for Rakeo. Luckily, he knows them all by heart. But then, after he has done his evening rituals and his physiotherapy and his calming meditation, he does have a bit of a guilty pleasure of his own. There is a radio broadcast called Records from the Liminal Bureau, which is a weird fiction anthology radio show. He has a small device which he saved up a lot of money to buy. This is the one luxury really that our Calanet has, and it records from the radio onto magnetic discs up to 10 of these episodes, and he carries it with him at all times, just as a small thing. And it's the one thing that he was able to, the one personal item he was able to bring with him onto the ship in all of the chaos. It was just in his bag. And so at night, even though he's now listened to all these plenty of times, he just listens to an episode of Records from a Liminal Bureau.
This helps clear your mind, allows you to. You've heard it again and again and again, so it's not the story, it's the you know what's coming up. It's kind of I understand. I do the same with exactly the same books over and over again on Audible. I understand how he is.
You have a Walkman.
I have a Walkman, yeah. And he would be a reader if there were books on this vessel that he could read, but there isn't. So he listens to radio plays. Just a handful. He can only have 10. That's all that his steampunk Walkman can carry.
Yeah.
And this is just what he had on him at the time of the party. And that's what he does. He listens to an episode or two.
I like it. You relax into the episode, feeling the words that you've known again and again and again, and just drift into sleep. Darkness thickens. You're still in the chamber. Then movement. The sarcophagus stirs. From it rises a man cloaked in shadow with ancient armor, impossibly tall, impossibly vast. His presence is a weight. His voice, when it comes, is the sounds of a dying world. He surges towards the prism, towards freedom. But the Vreen are ready. One breaks from the circle, flinging himself towards the beam of light. Seizing the prism with both hands, he begins to burn. Flesh peeling, body unraveling. But he does not scream. You watch as the burning Vreen rips the prism from the cradle and casts it aside. The dark presence, Korath, howls. Chains of will and sacrifice seize him in mid-step, dragging him back to the sarcophagus. It slams, its lid open, and then shut with a thunderous finality. Runes blaze. The Vreen claps, their purpose fulfilled. They die, not as victims, but as victors. One of them turns to you as it fades, blood filling its eyes, and with a whisper that pierces through space and time, it says,
"The sleeper waits beneath the stone. The prison is not a gift, but a wound. Don't let it bleed."
A storm of ashen wind tears the moment apart. There is fire. There is silence. You're in your cabin.
I think again he sits bolt upright, panting. They are jailers, not servants. They are... Oh, we have got this very wrong. They have got this very wrong. I must tell the others. And he again fumbles for his pocket watch and reads off the time.
The sun is creeping out. It is only a few moments, maybe half an hour before everybody would have been woken up anyway.
Oh, right. Yes, I need to know this. Thank you, Goddess, for your gifts of wisdom and insight. We would be stumbling further in the dark without your gift, without your blessing, without these miracles. Your servant thanks you. He kind of stumbles to his feet, just splashes some water on his face and gets dressed kind of hurriedly, not taking the usual kind of care that he does. And he stumbles into the galley and puts on the kettles, ready for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Still looking a bit shaken.
10 minutes, 15 minutes later, people start awakening, and everybody pulls themselves into the main galley where breakfast is brought together. Everybody, you wake up on the fourth day. Lou, sometime today you should be getting to where the X, where the tomb should be, 3 or 4 hours from now. All the way through the night and the remaining day, you did not see the ship that was trailing you.
Good. Hopefully they've crashed.
Aiming straight at the communication beacon, they plough into the ground.
That's kind of like mostly my plan. Either that or they got exploded by lightning. That would be nice.
I think Rakeo serves breakfast, and then when we're kind of saying, look, my friends, I had a further vision last night, and the goddess has revealed to me a truth. The Vreen are not servants of this Korath, as I first thought, as I suspect we all first thought. They are his jailers. I was gifted a vision of the past, where a significant number of them sacrificed themselves to put him back in his tomb and to seal his way out into the world. I know in my heart that this is a true vision. I suspect the Vreen will not be willing to compromise with us, unless, Captain Heek, you have had dealings with them before when they were more open to communication. But I think it is important that we know that they may not be the enemies we first believe them to be.
The received wisdom is to leave them alone. They are not... Communication has never been established in the way you mean. Come here, go away, don't touch that thing. Nothing meaningful.
No offence, Kalanat, but if they come up with violence, I've got no compunction doing that same thing again.
we can always attempt communication first. The ones we have encountered so far were possessed and violent.
Were they possessed or were they fanatical? Maybe they knew that we would not be in position to speak. I don't know. They may have been desperate, but I hear what you're saying, Koro, and I agree. I am not counseling foolishness. And if they come with violence in their hearts as their first recourse, then they will be met with violence. What else can we do? We have to protect our own lives to see this through, at the very least.
Could it be that they work so hard to protect and seal this thing away because they are so vulnerable to its predation? And the ones we have met so far are not the ones you saw in your vision.
I mean, that is likely. The ones I saw in my vision, I mean, they all died to seal the tomb, but also, as we discussed a while ago, they could not be the same tribe of Vreen. The distance between here and LaRue's Manor is far too great. So it could be that this tribe, the tribe that assaulted our friend's estate, are indeed a new and susceptible tribe. Maybe they just have not, due to a lack of exposure, they've not been able to build the resilience to resist. But it may, I suppose my point is there may be allies, unexpected allies, waiting for us when we get there. We just may need to be able to try to convince them of our intentions before they start swinging their clubs.
Talk first before you kill anything. It's always good advice.
If we can. They may not give us the option, but if they do, then it would behoove us to take it. How close are we to the site, Koro?
Few hours, weather permitting.
Then we need to make ourselves ready to leave, gather the supplies we will need for this expedition, and find somewhere, I imagine, to moor the airship.
We'll have a look when we get there. They've been there before, so I'm sure there must be something around.
Yeah.
Dusk, the Twilight Librarian, says, when we arrive, I'll stay with the airship. I'm not really suited for this.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Foss, I imagine you will be coming with us. You have been there, after all. You know the layout of the temple.
Yeah, and I can take you to the central chamber, where the pedestal is. But again, when we removed it from that pedestal, the surroundings became violent. There was environmental instability.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
And of course the Vreen attacked us as soon as we left.
Did they?
With the prism. He shrugs. Yeah.
But they did not attack you when you first went in.
We didn't see them. We only saw them after we had the prism. My concern obviously is, if we put it back, what's to stop somebody else from pulling it? Do we have a solution to the explosives?
I don't know what we have on board the vessel in terms of that. We did request munitions and similar in case we had to. But I have faith in Captain Heek's ability to, at the very least, come up with a creative solution to engineer this place sealed again. I have faith in Koro's ability to lead us in and out safely. The rest of you I do not know well enough, but I have faith in your spirits to assist us.
Lou, Kuro knows that whilst there is a small amount of explosives on the ship, it's kind of more like maybe half a dozen sticks of dynamite rather than a load of stuff. They're archaeologists, they tend not to blow things up, but sometimes you do need it, but not really a lot.
We've got some, we'll make it work.
Depending on how big the doors are, and I think the Kalanat said they were quite big when mentioned before.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, it might not be enough, but yeah.
We'll make it work.
Okay. It's light rain. There's no real storm, but you don't see the foreboding ship that was chasing you the day before. How are you going to prepare everybody?
I am going to strap on my blast vest, pack up medkits, my weapons, any supplies. I would treat that as if I was travelling across land for a few miles.
Mm-hmm.
if it's a labyrinth, then we're going to need
Rope, chalk.
rope. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, pick up anything like that from the ship supplies.
Yep, they have exactly that sort of thing because this is where they go with the ship. So yeah, rope, supplies, they have picks, pitons, hammers, everything you might need. Large flashlights, like a Flavor Flav big clock thing. There is like a hands-free lights necklaces, which aren't beams, they just glow out in like, say, 180 degrees of light in front of you.
Yeah, put on effectively a climbing harness and attach various bits to it.
Not being a practical or physical person and being quite beholden to everybody else on this, aside from the prism, which I will be carrying because I have the most mental fortifications through my training to be able to resist the pull of it, I'm going to be basically sherpering for everyone else as much as I can given my leg.
Yeah.
But I will be carrying extra stuff for other people, so extra cores of rope, extra batteries, extra chalk, extra supplies, probably Savriel's second rifle, if needs be, spares. I will be the pack mule for the group because that is the way I can best cope at the moment, but I'm definitely carrying the box with the crystal in.
You go back to the safe and swirling the large dial around, you put in the combination and pull down the handle and open the thick metal door. As you open the door, you hear the whispering. I say hear, you don't hear it, you just know it's there. You're not entirely sure what is being said. You could possibly focus on it and work out what is being said, or you could ignore it.
I'm ignoring it. I am locking my mind down against it. I will begin by chanting a mantra to my goddesses, and then one of the training aspects of being a Kalanat is almost partitioning your mind. So I separate a small bit of my consciousness to keep repeating that mantra of protection that I was taught in the seminary constantly in the back of my head. It takes a bit of my attention, but it's not something I have to actively constantly keep doing, but it does act as a blocker for the worst of the impulses.
You roll me a force die.
Yes, I should.
This isn't going to affect your thing. I just want to know how the force is within you right now.
2 light side points. My faith is strong.
Yeah, you can do that. You can lock it away quite effectively. It's something you've done several times before to focus your mind, and you do. The whispering, whilst it doesn't diminish, becomes less pressing. Are you keeping it inside the engineering box, or are you taking it, putting it?
Yeah, I am. I'm keeping it through as many layers of protection.
Double boxed. Gotcha.
Yeah, that means it's still portable. So it will probably go in my backpack.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big, chunky box. Now it's boxed in a box and box. Because, I mean, it's kind of maybe 15 centimetres across as a thing as it is. It's a large crystal in itself, and then that's inside the box, and that's inside the box. So, yeah, it fills the bottom of your backpack, or the top of your backpack, depending on which one you want it to be. But it is a significant amount of your carrying.
But I'm aware that the double walling protects everybody else. Or at least Rikayo's supposition is that the double walling seems to protect everybody else. It's only the fact that he is so open to the miracles of the unseen world that he's able to hear it more than the others.
It is kind of weird that it doesn't necessarily protect from the voices or anything like that. But if the voices were saying, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, it's very difficult to pick it up if it's inside 2 boxes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't protect sight through the force, but it protects physically from them being able to touch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, because you can still see the light through the box. It's not diminished through the box or anything, but anybody who is taken with the thought of following what the prism is instructing going to have a bit of a difficulty because it's inside a locked box, inside an engineeringly made locked box.
Covered in security tape.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have sealed it in a failed dumb, as in, there's no such thing as foolproof. A fool will eventually get in there, but it's to buy enough time for someone who isn't a fool to deal with it.
Life will just create a better fool. Okay, so going to Hikwa, how are you preparing?
Similar to other party members, he's making sure that we've got supplies, we've got equipment. He's doing an assessment as to whether he thinks it's worth taking Appia with him, to which I look at the GM and go, is that going to...
mess with anything at all. You can take Appia with you if you wish. They're presently in the cargo bay of the ship, and happily inside there. The weather is getting worse, but it's not getting insanely bad. So you could probably take with. Flying in this sort of weather would be more difficult, but not impossible.
But they can walk and they won't sort of stand.
Yeah.
So I'm not using Appia as a beast of burden. The tack on Appia is to make sure that when we, if we do have to abandon the bee, that they're safe and that they could return back to base.
Yep.
That sort of thing. It's all focused on looking after the creature rather than anything that's useful for the party, because the creature's the thing that's useful to the party because it means we can scout. So once he's done that, he has spare repair applies. I have picked up explosives.
Yeah, there's not much.
It's only going to be basic stuff. I'm assuming it's stuff that you would need to break things rather than to, you can't knock down a building, but you might be able to open the door.
It's essentially you're on grenade level rather than explosive level. So they are sticks of explosives which you put a fuse in and then light. They're essentially dynamite. You're not going to be able to do anything big with them. You could probably mess up a room quite badly with all 5 of them.
If I wanted to knock something down, I'd need a day and a drill and all the rest.
Yeah, you'd need to put it somewhere significantly effective. You couldn't just throw it into the room and boom, the entire thing's destroyed. You'd need to put it in the right place. There's just not enough of this stuff.
He's going for a mix of equipment between your standard kind of adventurous survival gear, travelling light, definitely has some sort of light illumination, definitely has some sort of blanket, that sort of thing, and also just prepared for a fight, prepared also because it's his job to fix or break something important.
Okay, and
a big wrench, the biggest one he can find.
Of course, yeah. And Ross, how are you preparing?
I don't think Savriel's doing anything particularly special. He's going to look almost exactly the same as he has done all along because he's.
I was already prepared.
Well, no, but I wasn't quite expecting Rakia to be carrying a second rifle. I had assumed I was going to leave that rifle in my room, though, or something.
Which one are you taking with you?
I'm going to take the ancient blaster carbine because it's shiny. But I've got my trusty pistol as well. So.
If you want Rakia to carry your second rifle, then he will. Otherwise, if you want to leave it behind, he's fine. Mostly he's there to help carry the extra stuff for everybody else, so I shouldn't have taken your agency there, I'm afraid, matey. Sorry about that.
Well, it was a question we just hadn't asked.
It was a suggestion, rather than...
Yeah. But, beyond that, he's ready to go, so...
Okay. You're born ready, I get you.
Not necessarily, but he didn't take... Apart from, the pile of library books that I'm sure that, they're having a fun time working out, did all of these come from this shell? I don't think he's left a huge amount of stuff all over the place where he didn't know where to find it, so...
Yeah. Okay. Time goes on, you all get yourself prepared. Lou, it's about time to do some landing.
Woo.
So I'm going to need a piloting roll. It is a normal roll. I'm going to tell you that there are disadvantages from the environment because of the weather, but there are not 2 of them, so ignore it. And this is kind of not just landing, but how close you can land to the temple. How close would you like to land? Would you like to be fairly close, or would you like to be far away? Or?
I don't want to land right next to it, just in case we need to leave in a hurry, or if it starts rumbling or doing anything. I don't want the ship to be swallowed in any unpleasantness.
500 meters, something like that?
Yeah, within dashable distance.
Long range?
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine.
Ooh, that's 1 failure and 2 advantage.
Okay. What would you like your advantage to be?
That I don't knock off anything significant.
Well, we'll see. No, you're not going to damage the ship to a point where it is completely wrecked.
The damage that I do is purely cosmetic.
Ish. Let me read out what I have under the title Bad Landing. As the Aurora dips towards the surface, the sky churns with an unpredictable currents, thick with ash and hidden crosswinds. You grip the controls, but a sudden downdraft slams the ship's belly like a hammer. The hull groans in protest, a metal shuddering as the entire vessel is knocked sideways. Alarms flare. Voss stumbles, catching himself against the console. Outside, jagged rocks rush up to meet you. The engines strain as you fight to level it out, but it's too late for precision. The Aurora strikes hard against the uneven terrain, skidding across black gravel in a cacophony of streaking metal and hissing steam. Sparks erupt as the landing struts shear against the stone, one of them folding entirely. The deck lurches violently. Crew and cargo are thrown around against walls and rails. When the ship finally comes to rest, it is half tilted against a sloping ridge. Smoke curls from beneath the hull, and the harsh wind whistles through fractured vents. The ship is intact, but battered and grounded, and several hundred meters from the tomb's proper entrance. Inside, the cockpit's final warning light blinks slowly off. The Aurora will fly again, but you will need to repair it.
Perfect landing. I think that was purely cosmetic damage.
You're kind of at about 30 degrees because one of the struts of the ship is not on. But other than that...
Perfect
it's fine.
landing.
We're not upside down. This is the first time I've landed the ship.
Yeah.
Perfect landing.
Yeah.
You can walk away from it. That's the important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody can walk away from it. You had enough advantages there not to get any strain from the bashing. It is all cosmetic bashing on the inside and a little bit more than cosmetic on the outside, but it is perfectly fixable. Ed, assuming you roll any positive dice, it is perfectly fixable. If you keep rolling like you're rolling at the moment, you're here forever. You're all doomed. It's quiet. You're about maybe 700 meters away from the an area of which you assume is the tomb.
How long would it take to just make sure that there's no further damage, by the way? Like, to repair the fan?
Half an hour to go through the systems.
Before we leave, let's prepare to leave now. So if we have to leave in a hurry, we don't have to worry.
Roll me mechanics, and if you get a good roll, it's going to be quicker.
Okay.
And normal difficulty.
Ooh.
Excellent. In 10 minutes, you go around the ship and find out that, yeah, it's pretty much fine. The only problem is that one of the landing struts is not down. So you could probably take off without doing anything, but without getting like a big hammer and kind of sorting out that strut, it'll be difficult to land again.
Just for those who can't see the dice roll, that was 2 success and 2 advantage.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that, yeah. Cosmetic damage, kind of. You can certainly take off, but you'll take off with one of the landing struts stuck. So you'll have problems. You'll be paying it forward for your problems. So you could spend a bit of time fixing that, or you could deal with it at a later date.
He fixes the strut and uses the advantage to do it quickly.
All right. No, that was to find out exactly what sort of issues you had. If you could find out what the damage was.
Can I spend the advantage to, like...
Fixing the struts will take a while.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of attention we're going to attract by being just stood here doing not a lot.
I mean, they're like 10 feet metal beams, which you'll need to basically reset.
I think the question here is this, Captain. Do we need these landing struts fixed in order for us to take off?
Oh, we can fix them in flight. I'm just going to make sure they don't jam when we leave, otherwise it won't engage. And that's what he does. So he just, like, essentially oils and greases everything up so it doesn't provide a complication on egress. Is that a way I can use the advantages?
That I'm happy with. It's not going to get any worse. You can definitely take off. If you don't fix them now, you can fix them in flight. But you know exactly what to do to fix them in flight. It'll be cool because you'll be thousands of meters above the fixing a strut out in the storm.
He adds a couple of eye bolts as he does so, quite cheerfully, just to, I'll put the straps here when I need to, yeah. and then it's all secured and tied up on.
This most definitely should be in one of your movies. Fixing a strut of a landing thing while in a storm, flying around, maybe leaping onto a bee as you do it, is just brilliant for one of your movies.
I'll have to tell my friend Dino about this. I'm sure he'll be fascinated. Oh, it doesn't occur to him at any point that when he tells his friend Dino, it'll end up in a movie.
Yeah, well, Dino is a movie producer. It seems like it would probably be a thing that it will happen.
But he hasn't connected the two things. He just tells the story and then suddenly it's like, oh, we're doing this again.
You can imagine there being a flat background of a storm, a strut that comes out of nowhere, and you holding onto it while people wobble boards and flash lights. It'll look great on film, but it just won't look as good as what you're doing, what we'll be doing right now.
It's just not as interesting.
Movies aside, the ship is rested and you are ready to go if you will.
Yeah.
The ground of the Ashen Wastes is mostly sand, but around here it is bigger chunks of what seems to be slate. or obsidian, or it's not as fine as you've seen elsewhere. You can see on the horizon what looks to be a cliff line, maybe, as I say, about 700 meters away. And that, from your working out exactly where the tomb should be, is where the tomb should be. So you head off. It is rough terrain, but it is not dangerous terrain. So over the next hour, you make your way towards where you think the tomb entrance should be. As you set away, and possibly as you are about halfway to where the tomb should be, you glance back, and the ship just looks fine. There is nothing in the sky that you can see that might be the council ship. It looks like you've lost them. You continue on, and as you turn a corner of the cliff in front of you, the tomb doors loom before you, massive and foreboding, hewn from obsidian stone that seems to drink in the light. At the centre of the door there is a vast rune, a crown of thorns, a series of interlocking spikes that twist into a pattern reminiscent of barbed vines. The crest exudes both beauty and menace, although the very stone has sprouted living thorns, guarding secrets buried throughout the age. The runes around it shimmer faintly, pulsing with a dark energy similar to the crystal, as if echoing a silent warning. Step forward only if you're prepared to confront what should be remained sealed. Yeah, that does look remarkably like the Thorncrest Holdings logo. More simplified, but you can see, in the same way that you can recognize the Pepsi-Cola from the 1890s logo as being similar to the one of today, it is more complicated, it is cleaner cut, but it looks to be an ancient rune that could very well be Thorncrest Holdings. The door is probably about 20 feet across and 40 feet up. It is huge. It's in kind of almost like an alcove in the cliff face. So you've kind of got a cul-de-sac with the door at the back of it. You're probably about 50 yards away at the moment.
Click on my torch and off I go.
Let's get this done.
You step forward, getting closer and closer to the massive obsidian door as you do. You can't help but feel that whilst there is 5 of you here, you are not alone. You can't see them, but you know they're here. The Vreen are watching you. And that's where I'll end it for today. Thank you very much, everybody, for going with us on this journey. I do apologise to the Patreons for this one because we went a little bit off script, but it's all good fun and all fine and dandy. It's all supposed to be about having fun, so sometimes we go a little bit off. Join the Patreon. You'll see what these games are actually alike. And there's lots of other fun things on there. But anyway, thank you very much for my players for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you
next time.